Hi, this is Munson with Munson Music, and we're going to talk about how you could strum through a song and kind of fingerstyle through a song called Always on My Mind. And I'm kind of working off the Elvis Presley version for this video. And we're going to start out on a G major chord. And the way you play G major, first finger goes to the A string on the second fret, second finger goes to the low E string on the third fret, and the third finger goes to the third fret on the high E string. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a G major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now another G you may want to think about through the song though is if you take the third finger and put them on the B string third fret and then the pinky on the high E string on the third fret, then that's another way you can play G major through the song. And there's this cool little lick, actually kind of a little arpeggio or broken chord around the G chord where you could go low E string and then G and then the B string and then G string and then the high E string and then the G string and the B string and then the G strings. If you wanted to, you could kind of get a little arpeggio around the G chord through the song in the intro. And actually, you can even kind of take that idea and kind of apply it to a lot of the other chords through the song. But a lot of times with a song like this, to make it more interesting, I like adding something called a strum pattern. And one of my favorite strum patterns for a 4/4 like this is down, down, up, up, down, up. So you took the G and just tried that a lot. You'd have down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, G, down, down, up, down, up. And then from the intro, we'll be going into our verse part. And on our verse, we start on the G major, but then we go to a D major chord. When we play D major, first finger goes to the G string on the second fret, second finger on the high E string on the second fret, third finger on the B string on the third fret. And if you strum the D string to the high E string, that sounds a D major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now on that particular D though, it almost sounds like there's an F sharp in the bass, which is something called D/F sharp, where you could play just the D chord, or if you wanted to get in that F sharp note that's in the bass, you could take your first finger and go to the low E string on the second fret, second finger on the G string on the second fret, third finger on the high E string on the second fret, and the pinky on the B string on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a D/F sharp, or D with an F sharp in the bass. Another way to play that chord is to kind of take the D major shape and then take your thumb and go over the low E string on the second fret. That's another way you can kind of play it. And you might want to consider another D, something called D/F sharp, where you do your first finger on the low E string on the second fret, second finger on the G string on the second fret, third finger on the B string on the third fret, and the pinky on the high E string on the third fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds a D/F sharp. So that way you could actually kind of leave that third and fourth finger on the high E and the B in that change. And then from there we go to an E minor chord. When you play E minor, first finger goes to the A on the second fret, second finger on the D string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an E minor chord. It sounds really sad. Now another E minor you might want to consider through the song is something called E minor 7, where you do your third finger on the B string third fret and the pinky on the high E string on the third fret. And that sounds like E minor 7. You might want to think about that for your E minors. And then from the E minor, we go back to the D major chord, but then we go to a C major chord. When we play C major, first finger goes to the B on the first fret, second finger on the D string on the second fret, third finger on the A string on the third fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, that sounds a C major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now another C major you may want to think about through the song is something called C major 9. And the way you play C major 9, first finger goes to the D on the second fret, second finger on the A string on the third fret, third finger on the B string on the third fret, and the pinky on the high E string on the third fret. And so that's called C major 9, and that way you could actually kind of weave that third and fourth finger down through that whole intro on the verse. E minor 7, D major, and then C major 9, or at least your third finger. And then we kind of have a quick change back to D major, and then we almost start over again. We go back to the G major, D/F sharp, E minor, D major, but then we go to an A major chord. When we play A major, first finger goes to the D on the second fret, second finger on the G on the second fret, and third finger on the B string on the second fret. And if you strum all those together, that sounds an A major chord, and it sounds really, really happy. Now another A you may want to think about though is something called A7 sus. And A7 sus, you do your first finger on the D string second, second finger on the G string second, third finger on the B string third, and the pinky on the high E string third. And then that way you can actually kind of leave that third finger down on the B string third finger through that whole change, and kind of make it an anchor or a guide finger. Now the weird thing about applying our strum pattern to that though is the E minor and the D right after the D slash F sharp kind of half. So it could be just kind of down, down up on those chords. And then on the C and the D change right after that, you kind of do a down, down, up on the C, and then we do a down, up on the D. So it's a little weird how that kind of halves. So we tried our verse with our strum pattern. We have G with a down, down, up, down, D slash F sharp, down, up, down, E minor, down, down, D with a down, down, C with a down, down, up, D with a down, up, and then we go back to G, down, 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 D slash F sharp, down, down, E minor with a down, down, D with a down, down, A with a down, down, down. And then from there, then we go into our pre-chorus part. On our pre-chorus, we start on C major, and then we go to a G major chord, and then we go back to C major, and then do a quick change to a G slash B. So you're kind of trying to bring out the A string for your bass note on that G chord. And then we go to an A minor chord. When we play A minor, first finger goes to the B on the first fret, second finger on the D on the second fret, third finger on the G string on the second fret. And if you strum the A string to the high E string, then that sounds like an A minor chord, and it sounds really sad. And then from the A minor, we go to a G major chord, and then we go to a D major chord. So the weird part is that that C to the G slash B to the A minor and the G all half. So we end up doing just kind of a down, down, up on those with our strum pattern. So A minor with a down, down, G with a down, down, up. So we tried the pre-chorus with our strum pattern. We have C, down, up, down, G with a down, down, up, down, C with a down, down, G slash B, down, A minor, down, down, G, down, D, down, down, up, down, up. And then we go into our chorus part. And our chorus, we start on the G major, and then we have a C major, and a D major, and a G major, and then do kind of a big push on kind of a C chord and a D chord at the very end. So we got G, down, down, C with a down, D, down, G, down, up, C, D. It's kind of this big push on the chorus. And then from there, then we'd be going back into our verse part. Now something else I think about adding to the song though is bass notes, and a lot of times on that first down of the down, down, up, you can throw in a bass note for the chord. So on the G, you'd have the low E string for your bass. On the D chord, you'd have the D for your bass, down, down, unless you're doing the D slash F sharp, in which case you'd be doing the low E string for your bass on the D slash F sharp. And on the E minor chord, we'd have the low E string for the bass. On the C, we'd have the A string for the bass. And then on the A major and the A minor chord, we'd have the A string for the bass. So we tried our next verse, but with a bass down, up, we'd have G with the bass, down, down, D slash F sharp with low E bass, down, down, E minor with low E bass, down, up, D with the D bass, down, C with an A bass, down, D down, G with low E bass, down, down, D slash F sharp, down, down, E minor with the down, bass, down, D with the bass, down, A with an A bass, down, down. And then from there, then we'll be going back into our pre-chorus part. So we tried that with basses. The weird part is on that G slash B, you may want to use the A string for your bass on that change. So you'd have C with an A bass, down up G slash B with an A bass, down up A minor with an A bass, down up G with low E bass on that part. So we tried our pre-chorus with our bass down up, down up. We'd have C with an A bass, down up, down G with low E bass, down up, down C with an A bass, down G slash B with an A bass, down up A minor with an A bass, down up G with low E bass, down up D with the bass, down up, down up. And then from there, then we go into our next chorus part. So we tried our chorus with a bass down up, we have G with low E bass, down down, C with an A bass, down up D with a D bass, down G with low E bass, down up C push, D push. And then from there, then we'd be going into our bridge part. Now on our bridge part, all our chords kind of half, and we kind of end up working the G to the D slash F sharp to an E minor, the D, and then the C, and then the G slash B, and then the A minor, and then the D. But we really only have enough time to do kind of a down, down up on it. So we tried our bridge with a down, down up on each chord. We have G, down, D slash F sharp, down up E minor, down, D, down, C, down, G slash B, down up A minor, down, D, down, up. Or if we tried it with a bass down up on each one, we have G with the bass, down D slash F sharp, E minor low E bass, down up D with the D bass, down C with an A bass, down G slash B with an A bass, down up A minor with an A bass, down D with the D E bass, down, up. And now another thing I would think about though through the song though is kind of following that beginning arpeggio as kind of a fingerstyle idea. So if you're kind of interested in this, you could kind of use your thumb as your bass player for the E string, the A string, and the D string. And then your index finger can kind of take the job of playing the G string. Middle finger can take the job of playing the B string, and the ring finger can kind of have the job of playing the high E string. And if we follow that beginning arpeggio, you kind of be going bass, index, middle, index, ring finger, index, middle, index is kind of an idea for an arpeggio through the song. So that could be kind of a cool way to kind of try and cover the song. Actually, you have the G as kind of with the low E bass, D/F sharp with the low E for the bass, E minor with low E bass, C with an A bass, D with the D bass, and then you have an A with the A bass, and then A minor with kind of an A bass. And then when we get to that G/B, you could use the A string for your bass. So your thumb kind of becomes your bass player through the song that way. So we try to do the bridge. The weird part is we don't really have a lot of time, so you could kind of work just that first part, that thumb, index, middle, index is kind of an idea through the bridge. So you can have kind of the G, D/F sharp, E minor, D, C, G/B, A minor, D, G, D/F sharp, E minor with low E bass, D with the D bass, C with an A bass, G/B, A minor with an A bass, D with a D bass. And then from there, we'd be going into a solo part, which is kind of like the second half of our verse. So if we did that with just a bass down, up, down, up, we'd have G with low E bass, down, up, down, D/F sharp with low E bass, down, down, E minor with low E bass, down, D with the D bass, down, A with an A bass, down, down, up. Or if we tried that fingerstyle, you could do kind of the G arpeggio, and then the D/F sharp arpeggio. Half the E minor with thumb, index, middle, index, D, and then the A with thumb, index, middle. So we kind of work it that way. And then from there, we'll be going back into our pre-chorus part. So we tried that with a bass down, up, down, up. We'd have C with an A bass, down, down, G with low E bass, down, down, C with an A bass, down, G/B with an A bass, down, A minor with an A bass, down, G with low E bass, down, D with the D bass, down, down, up. Or if we tried that with those arpeggios, we'd have C with kind of the full arpeggio, G with the whole arpeggio, but then we have C with kind of thumb, index, middle ring, G/B, A minor, G, and then D with our whole arpeggio. And then from there, we go into our last chorus, and there's kind of this big push on the last chorus where we do our whole G, our whole C, our whole D, and then we end up kind of halving a lot of our chords, kind of like our bridge part. But until the very, very end, where we end up with kind of a big push on kind of an A minor with a down, D with a down, and then we pick it back up on kind of that G arpeggio at the end. So we tried that with a bass down, up, down, up. We'd have G with low E bass, down, up, down, C with an A bass, down, down, D with a D bass, down, down, G with low E bass, D/F sharp, E minor, D with a D bass, C with an A bass, D/B with an A bass, A minor, G major with low E bass, G major with low E bass. Or if we tried that with that fingerstyle idea, we'd have G, C, D, and then half a G, half a D/F sharp, half an E minor, half a D, half a C, half a G/B, big push on A minor. We want to use all the fingers together for those pushes. D major. Then back to the G with kind of our arpeggio. G thumb, index, middle, index, ring, index, middle, index. And then from there, we go into our outro part. And on our outro, we end up kind of doing the whole G major, whole D/F sharp, and then we have our E minor and our D, and then our C and our D, kind of like our intro or our verse part, or the first part of our verse part. So we have G with low E bass, down, up, down, D/F sharp, down, down, E minor with low E bass, down, D with the D bass, down, C with an A bass, down, D down, G with low E bass, down, down, D/F sharp, E minor with low E bass, D with the D bass, C with an A bass, down, D down, Now if you're gonna fingerstyle through that part though, on that C chord, you may want to do that first first part of the arpeggio, thumb, index, middle, index, ring, index, and then hit the D. It's kind of a big push at the end, so that's one suggestion on that. You could just half the C, half the D as well. But if we tried it that way, we'd have G with the whole arpeggio, D slash F sharp with the whole arpeggio, E minor half a D, C, D push, G with low E bass, D slash F sharp with low E bass, E minor low E bass, D with the D bass, C with an A bass, D push, big G, kind of at the very, very end. But that's the basics of how you can strum through and kind of easily fingerstyle through Always on My Mind by Elvis. So good luck!